very thing that they're trying to fight against with their actions. You know what I'm saying? Not knowing what time it is. Yeah, just woke up.
Mad interesting to me. I was about to go to sleep and this just woke me up.
And let's say the robots have already taken control. I was thinking about the algorithm. You know how, like, when you type things in to do a search, you adjust your words because you know that your search is going to pop up much better depending on how you order those words and which words you use, right? So then think about this. So who's training you how to do searches, right? It's not another person that's doing this. The computer is doing it. The algorithm is teaching you how to input these, you know, terms so that you can get the results that you want. Do y'all understand what I'm saying? So think
Yeah.
about this and speed it up and go 1,000 years in the future of the algorithm teaching us how to input information or whatever and other things, because we're so attached to our devices. Our devices are everything. So how we make them work or how they work the best, it's like the device or the algorithm is training us. Do y'all get what I'm saying? Fast forward that 1,000 years and think about it, and then think that maybe we're already there because we don't know what time it is because we're lost in time.
Well, I think the alignment, I think overall is gonna be, I mean, of course, we're gonna have, this physical space that we're gonna hold, but I mean, spiritually, I think like there's a lot of things because whatever you really tapping into, because like even when you're on the internet, I mean, you could be, one of those people that's looking for, what's happening with Boosie and, people, twerking and stuff on, online or whatever, or you might be the person who's actually studying and learning, different or new things so that the time that you're spending on the internet is either productive or non-productive. I think that's part of that realm of where you're falling into or out of, what I'm saying? So
Right.
it's
It's I think you're touching on it because the polarities. Because then you can choose to be creative or you could choose to be destructive. You know what I'm saying? And like we
hmm
said in the other
hmm
video, I think that if you're doing idle things with no point, it's automatically destructive. So then like I say, it takes effort to create things. It's really easy to destroy things. You go to the beach, you make a sandcastle, you spend hours on it. Some kid walks by and just jumps on it, just kicks it over. It was easy for that kid. He got a bit of pleasure out of it, but it only
yeah.
entertained him for a moment though, and he's on to something else because that doesn't give you much satisfaction. The creation process keeps you busy a lot longer and gives you a lot more satisfaction, even if it doesn't survive, even if it doesn't make it.
hmm
You know how much this
Well,
world is
see, but the
wicked,
thing
but
about that
you
is
can
is
level up
even with the
spiritually.
kid, e-
Go, go
wait a
ahead,
minute,
Pat.
even with the kid destroying the castle, the person, yeah, the person who created it still has the vision of it in his mind. Like they might be long gone. Like they don't even see the castle destroyed. You know what I'm saying? Like
There's
they
a
know, like they spent the time, but
It's
it's
tough.
that
Effort.
moment and that.
Wait, we lost you, Pat. Yes, what Pat is saying is exactly right. What he's saying is that you did it. It doesn't matter no more. You're not attached to what happens to it. You did that creation process.
Mm.
There's a story about this that I was watching in a video or I was reading it, and it was this guy. He created like a garden. It was in, I want to say, New York, and it was in like a little area that was all run down and shitty. And this guy, you know, every day was out there pulling rocks and sculpting and making this area beautiful. And then after he was done, he just left. He just left it, and it took him years to make this. and working on it every day. You know what I'm saying? Like, that is really crazy because, like, what job does he have? How does he pay for his whatever? He's spending all his time working on this thing that's not going to make him any money at all. So he spent years working on this thing every day, and then he just left. And then, like, he ran into this guy at the airport. This guy at the airport had been watching him do this. He ran into him at the airport, and he asked him the question. He was like, why would you spend all that effort on that and just leave it like that? And the guy didn't even answer him. He just like bowed or whatever, shook his hand and left. And like, you know, it's like, and the other guy got the understanding that, it doesn't matter what happens to it after he creates it. He's already done his job. He's already done his thing. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
whatever happens to it later, that's not on him.
And that's kind of what I was explaining. I don't know what part y'all missed because I was just going and then I realized that my phone was disconnected from the show. But yeah, like I said, I mean, that castle that we're talking about in the sand, you didn't really ruin it for the person who created it because they're gonna have that memory forever. They're long gone from the beach from where they left that castle. So there's gonna be people who was able to enjoy it the way it was and fully intact, and then it was also potentially enjoyed when somebody stumped on it. So I mean,
But then
it's
you come
real.
back to
It's
it,
really perspective.
And
and you're
it
like,
still exists in your mind, is what you're saying, Pat. Like, it
it's like
exists forever in your mind.
I feel
Yeah.
like God did, like, like, you ever heard of the faces in the mountain? I forget what it's called, but like a
Mount
masterpiece.
Rushmore.
Mount Rushmore, yeah, like God fucking made Mount Rushmore. He comes back after like what you're saying, and then he comes back, sees his fucking creation, and they fucking put dicks in their mouth or some shit, you know?
Oh.
Well, the Aboriginal peoples feel like Mount Rushmore is blasphemous. Those hills, those mountains, they felt were sacred,
Or
and
like
they
we'll say like the chapel,
Yeah, it's
the
mountains. Yeah, this is a mountain. That's over in South Dakota. I think it's South Dakota, North Dakota.
tho-
But
and those were considered sacred areas for thousands and thousands of years. Those hills and those mountains out there, and they were left pristine for a reason, and they feel like that was defacing. You
man's
know,
ego, bro. Man's ego.
I'm telling you, man, put my face on the
yeah,
mountain. I want my face
yeah.
on the side of the mountain.
Well, we're created in God's image, bro, and all God wants is to be worshipped.
Well, that sounds like man.
That sounds
Exactly.
exactly like man.
That
Exactly,
sounds like
bro.
man. I don't think
And
that
then you get
God.
judged for it. It's like, what the fuck?
Why
Like,
would
you
he
judging
care?
me, bro?
He's creating this everything. He is everything. Why would he care if you worshiped him? That's one of the lines out of the Bible that really bothers me. It's like God is a selfish God, and God is a
But
selfish God.
that means that. But I would think that would mean you would need to worship yourself, like do good by yourself, and like uplift yourself. Give what I'm saying because it's like a reciprocal thing. Like I mean, it's if you're giving praise to God, you're really giving praise to yourself and others. Like your
I think
friends, your family.
the only important shit is the Ten Commandments and giving great gratitude to God for life.
And that's
Like
all he.
everything
That's
else is bullshit.
And that's all you're supposed to do. You really touched on it right there, Brendan, because that's what I feel. And that's what I say all the time. All we're supposed to do is give thanks. We're not even the prayers that people are taught to do where they're asking for stuff. That is not what you're supposed to do. Everything has been provided. God has provided you with everything. There's nothing to ask for. You're just supposed to give thanks. And that's it. Period. That's it.
I've been asking for a
God
lot, but
bless you.
at this point,
Thank you.
thank you. Oh wait, God bless you, bro. I've been
Well,
asking
God
for a lot.
bless all of y'all. But I was just,
Yeah.
I was
My bad.
some
I get
our
I
brother
weird.
don't
was.
I don't
sneezing.
say bless you because I have a problem with the etymology of that word.
Well,
Let me read the
well,
You're
etymology.
right with that. You're
Not,
right with that though, because God spoke it into existence. So words are powerful, bro. And if you say the wrong thing in the wrong way, the
that's why
wrong
I don't.
thing gets created.
I really believe that heavily because the Bible starts off and the Quran starts off with like God said it was good, like it's the spoken word, and they say later on they say you created God's image. You know that your words have power. You create things with it's the breath and the word, the mind. You know what I'm saying? You
That's
think of it
that's why
first,
rap.
you breathe, and then you speak it into existence, literally. Let me read
That's why rap.
Curtis' comment. He says, "It does sound like man, doesn't it?" And it's like that's the thing with religions, all of them. It's like they're teaching you to they're really just worshiping each other, they're worshiping man. You know what I'm saying? It's the whole image of Jesus. That's one of the things about what people don't understand about Islam is it's the most recent religion, it's the newest one, it's the upgraded version,
well,
okay?
no,
I
well,
I
maybe
I
an
tell you
upgraded
what, bro.
version, but one of the things that I learned through as like our indigenous history is that Islam is not new, but it is new because it updates itself every 25,000 years.
So yeah,
So
so
from the,
Damn, that's
Islam
old then.
Islam updated itself. Islam is an update of the modern religions, man. And then if you think about what religions are all about, then you understand. See, Islam works better, okay? And one of the ways is because of the image, okay? In Islam, they don't have no images. It's like they really are against images. You go to the mosque, there will not be images of man. You won't see no images of no men in the mosque. They are completely against that. So
yeah.
so it's a thing. It's a thing. So then image of Jesus, and then people worshiping Jesus as God, and he looks like a man. So it's like, how can God, the creator of the universe, be a man? Like that
I
doesn't
think
really make
we,
sense.
I think right there, that statement and the one before that is pretty much answered the opening question of the show. It's because people try to place God as a man when in all actuality he's a spirit. You know what I'm saying? It's a free will. He's the
The
universe.
host, the
And
Well,
host.
that's what I'm
people
saying because
like that's just
he's
like
more.
people think about, oh, the evilness of that. God has already given us the resources. He is God. But
Hey,
just
bro, the
because he
Holy
is God and
Spirit.
he's giving you the resource does not mean that you won't have famine going on over here or you won't have
And
children
most of that,
being killed here. It's just
most
the
of that is
nature
a
of
result of
people.
us.
Yeah,
Yes,
it's the result of us, and that's the same way God feels about this earth. Like we said, like when it comes down to you building that castle, you built that sand castle, and somebody destroyed it. The image is already in your mind. You've already received the gratification, the satisfaction of your creation, and
Well,
that's like with this
Yo, I
world, with
gotta go
this
get a
earth,
blunt
and
right.
what people are doing to it. Like at the end of the day, God does not mind starting over. He does not mind recreating a better earth, a better something. Like he will, because of who he is, he will destroy it and recreate something
and
better, something
and
beautiful,
and
something,
rebuild it
and
most
rebuild it.
definitely.
So we're doing torment to ourselves. We're destroying the world that God created, the beautifulness of this earth, you
Well,
know, by the
well,
shit that
that's the
we're doing.
well. See, that's the part that I guess I'm having my
Can I
like
get a white
during
white
this
out?
time. Hold on, Brendan. Like at this time, like that's the struggle I've been having is being able to like which part of me do I lean on more? Because I mean, of course, I know that this avatar, this flesh, I mean, it's meant to wash away or perish at some point, and but my soul, my spirit will live on. The energy within will continue into an oblivion until the uh
the
it
end of time,
it'll
which
yeah it'll
which
it
maybe never
which is
comes
there
to an
is
end.
which is
So
no time, like yeah,
so
like it will
forever.
always exist. Yeah.
It'll just be
So
the changing of forms, just
but
like that sandcastle.
Yeah, so I mean, I try to not fall into the whole, because I don't really watch the news like talking. I'm on YouTube. I tap into, certain places for information, but it's still kind of tough because I'm fighting. Okay, we got this physical thing that we're fighting over here, but then there's a spiritual thing that I'm fighting, and of course I don't know how to leave like the physical part because I got family, I got friends, people that I love that, okay, if I go and freak them out behind information that I have, am I helping them or hurting them?
And that's where we
Because
have to find the balance, because as above so below, because if we get too much in the spiritual, then we leave. There's got to be a reason why we're here in this physical state, right? So
yes,
we can't forget about
yes,
that. So we have to focus on that and the other at the same time and find a balance between them. You know what I'm saying? I think that if we focus on one more than the other, that's where we run into problems.
because if it's inevitable, the time that I could enjoy and the peace, and have some peace with those people I love. I mean, it's inevitable. We're all gonna go. I can wish for another 100, I mean, 50 years or this, that, and the other, but I might only have 50 hours or 50 minutes. Shit, it could be 50 seconds. I mean, you just
and
never
and,
know.
and think about that, because this is something I think about a lot, is the lifespans of different animals. So let's think about a fly, right? They could live like a couple of weeks, right? Like they don't live very long. I think it's like barely a month, you know
Hmm.
and their whole lifespan is that. So it's like, okay, so they need to find some mates, they need to reproduce, they need to eat and all of that, and maybe find some happiness within that time or whatever. So it's like, you think about the universe, you think about God and how he's created everything, and then what we're supposed to learn from all this stuff. So looking at
And
these
if he,
different.
if a I'm
Go ahead.
sorry, 'cause I was about to say, because if he gets caught up in my house, or like he's spending the little time he's got trying to, survive. like I'm,
And get out of your window and not get smushed, not
yeah.
get sprayed with raid. you know
Actually,
he might.
we got like 3 or 4 beehives, and I don't even kill them anymore, bro. Like,
I
I
try
don't
to
even
not to
fear
kill
them.
anything. It's even flies, and I hate
Yeah.
mosquitoes. Now it's a thing with mosquitoes. Like,
Mosquitoes
damn,
I'll kill. I don't know
yeah,
why. I'll kill the motherfuckers. I don't
they're
give a fuck.
attacking you. Like, I gotta defend myself and shit.
I
So,
hate
What
mosquitoes.
but see, but those are what was the term they used? If you have
I really,
if you need a host to survive, you're a what?
you're just a problem. You're a demon.
parasite.
You're a
You're a
A
demon.
parasite.
parasite. That's what a
Oh,
mosquito
parasite.
is.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah. So I gotta defend myself from parasites. They're gonna invade me and try to freaking colonize my body with their eggs.
Or they're gonna give you some Zika, the
Get,
damn chimpanzee bumps.
The
monkeypox?
Yeah.
Curtis says, "You
Well,
ever smashed a fly and saw blood?" Yeah, those
No,
flies.
I haven't.
No, they
I see
do.
green shit.
That's why I fuck with Curtis, because he act like he crazy and don't know things, but he knows things. Like,
he
there
don't act crazy. That motherfucker crazy.
they are flesh eating flies, bro. They will totally bite you and eat you like that.
Bro,
Like, and yes, just like a mosquito. So, but anyways, I try not to kill any animals. I try to keep them alive. I was at work the other day, and then we have like an outside bar, and a bee came in, and it was hanging crawling over the bar, and the guy that was sitting there was bothering him. He was like, "Can I get some Raid or something?" Like he wanted to smush it, right? So I just grabbed one of the napkins and kind of softly, kind of like covered it and carried it out and let it go, man. That's like, that may not
Well,
seem like a
if I
big thing, but
no,
to
I mean
me it
I'm with
is.
I
you. But
appreciate
no,
that.
I'm with you. Say, bro, I'm gonna tell you. I've had different periods of time within my life because I mean, especially when I was younger, like I was really, like as a kid, like the purity of my heart was just like I would not kill any kind of insect. I'm just like, okay, we just need to figure out a way. Now, if it's ants or something in the house, like you got to go. roaches, shit like that. I don't know, like I guess it got to a time in my life where it's just like, okay, look, I gotta figure out a way to live with it, or I gotta get rid of you without harming you. And but at the same time, it's just like we
Just a
all have the same
reminder.
kind of existence, right? Like, I mean,
And there's
oh
competition in nature all the time, and like the mice and the roaches, they're trying to
yeah, because
steal
if
your
you let
food.
It's a
You
yeah, I mean,
know,
if
reminder of
if
survival.
you allow them to stay there, they're just gonna multiply and they'll take over the place.
yeah. So there's a
So
competition within nature
Yeah,
automatically for
but
your.
that's a slippery slope because aliens can find that like if they're superior, they could do that to humans. We're
Let me
just
read.
bugs to them.
Let me read the comments. Curtis says, "I have." He says they will eat you, and yes, they will.
But I
Um,
unmanifest that, by the way.
and he was talking about the flies. And another comment, he says, "Nah, bro, it kills. I kills them all. They want something from me." Laugh my ass off. I guess he's talking about all the insects, but I wish that
Well,
people didn't think like that. Like
insects that don't
but
have
but
spiders,
but
brains are still
my
spiders,
thing,
spy devices, I feel like.
spiders are our friend most of the time, bro. Like the pests that bother us the most, spiders love to eat them. Like we be freaking out about spiders, but they eating the roaches and the flies and the fucking the mosquitoes, everything that's
Yeah,
bothering you, they fucking them
I
up.
love them, spider. Hey, Chaka, have you ever heard of the term you're bugged?
Yes,
Like you're being spied on?
yes.
I truly believe that there's like some kind of technology out there where some insects are spy devices. Little drones, bro.
Well, I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, like that would
It's
only
like
be in
a
extreme circumstances. I'm sure if you were like some kind of terrorist or something
H
that they want to use
cut.
some expensive ass technology to monitor you. But I don't think they would even have to do that. They got your cell phones, they got your Facebook, your Twitter and Instagram.
It's for
I
a
yeah,
think
I
that's
mean,
different breed.
that's
yeah, you spy on your, like, I mean, you're like the
That's
biggest
for human
agent,
spies.
like you're your biggest op.
yeah.
I'm talking about like different spies, like the heaven spies.
Oh,
Like
well, I feel like God is watching me all the time. I really believe that you're never really alone, you
the
know?
guardians are.
So you that's what I think about all the time when I try to do my behavior because it's like, okay, God can see what I'm doing. I mean, I can hide this from everybody else, but I can't hide this from God. I need to be 100% about it, whatever it is.
Well, I
If
mean,
it's something that I
is that because you are God?
that's one way to look at it. You know, either
You are a
it
god.
doesn't
You are
matter.
a god.
It doesn't matter. The result is the same. I can't hide my actions. I can't hide what I do. If I'm doing things that are foul, the universe sees.
You're a
Yeah,
god right now. You
and I
understand
know,
it.
but like Brandon, the way your perspective, like, cause each one of us has the same level of God. Like, I mean, we're sentient. Like we have a soul. Like we're, you
They're
know,
even the AI is becoming that, dude. It's scary, bro.
but it's not
Because
sentient.
because it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter who's monitoring you. If you feel that you're doing something that's against what you should be doing, then that's a problem that you have with yourself that you need to fix on your own. If you
Hmm.
know, otherwise, you need to try to put yourself in activities that you are proud of, that you know that you are not embarrassed of,
Look,
because the
look,
universe sees.
bro. I'm gonna tell you, like, cause I think like this. I know like people who have been like drug dealers, but they felt like what they were doing was the right thing, and they never get caught.
Not killers, bro. They're just you look into their eyes, they're
Well,
dead, bro. They're so sad.
there's some killers that probably feel like they are doing the right thing. Like, think about that show Dexter. Like, he never got
Hmm,
caught because like there was a justification in his mind and his heart that what he was
dang,
doing was for a
crazy.
reason. So you got to think. A lot of times, your position of yourself, the way you see yourself, you feel like you're doing wrong. You're pretty much indicting yourself.
Bro, you know why I hate that movie? Because it's not the human, it's the spirit that is manifested inside it. It's the demon inside them. So it's like you're killing the human, but you need to deliver that human from the demon, and then it heals if it's not too traumatic.
I'm following you, Brendan, because it's a mental mind fuck that we're doing. Like, if we feel like we're justified with something that we're doing, like, it's our perspective, it's our point of view that's bringing that justification. It's our line of thinking, it's our level of sanity that's bringing that result. And you can't trust it. I don't trust myself enough for that. You know what I'm
But
saying?
but I'm just saying, when you have that level of trust, when you believe or you get to that knowing it to yourself that what you're doing is right, that's what allows you to,
But
exceed the,
and that's
the outside.
and I think that's that problem with professionalism that I be talking about, because maybe you're right, but that 0.01% of the time when you're wrong, because you can't know everything. You think you know, but you don't. So you're like, okay, what I'm doing
But
is right and just, and it's
but that's the
but
thing.
maybe it's not.
But
What
no, but see,
like
the thing is like each one of us have our own experience, and if we're judging what my experience is based on what yours is, you'll be wrong every time. We'll be wrong every time because it's not the same experience, and because a person lives within their own experience, and no matter what other people see from the outside, they can judge, but like, can they truly judge based on
They
what you're
can't.
actually?
They can't, and that's the
Yeah.
reason why you shouldn't judge anyone. But still, though, just because somebody thinks that it's justified in their mind doesn't mean that it is. You know what I'm saying? Even if they're a professional and they know
To
that
who?
shit,
I
period,
never
The,
bro, I
overall.
never
the,
blame the human,
but
bro. I
see,
never blame
but
the
see,
human.
that's still, you see, and you
I
don't
get
even, a
it.
lot of times you don't realize it, but you are judging.
I
You
get
know what I'm
it. I
saying?
get what
Because
you're
you're saying,
saying. Because from my
yeah,
point of view, is not just right. I get what you're
yeah.
saying. But still, though, looking at it from
Yeah.
try to get outside of ourselves and our own perspective and the perspective of the universe and things being in
Well, we
balance,
see
because the
it,
universe has to be balanced. Therefore, if
but
it's
we
good
see
things
that
that happen,
shit.
it's also going to have to be bad things. How do you know what's good if nothing ever bad happens? Like the Tupac line, and that's really true. Like, if it wasn't for the rain, how you going
Yeah.
to enjoy the sunshine? If it wasn't for the
But
dark, how you going to
but
enjoy
there
the
needs to
light?
be balance,
Well,
brother. Right now it's 90% evil right now.
it's more like, but is it possible that you can enjoy both of them with the same enjoyment,
And
even though that their differences,
and I think
because
that's what you're supposed
because
to do. But
because
how would you
somebody, I mean,
how
because
can you distinguish?
the
How can
rain
you
is just
distinguish
as,
them? Go ahead. I'm
see,
sorry.
but see, those perspectives are things that we're being taught, that is, that it has to be, oh,
Y'all
well, if
moving
it's
so
raining
fast. My point
or
don't matter.
sun, the rain or the sunshine is, those are, as if those are polar differences, but I don't think that it is. I mean, those are two things that exist totally different from each other, and both of them are just as beautiful.
And
uh
they're different aspects of the same thing, of the whole. I get what you're
y-
saying, but how do you determine one from the other? That's the whole thing. Like, I'll be talking about all the time how I think about creation all the time, the first parts of the Bible, the first parts of the Quran, and it's like there was darkness and there was nothing, and you imagine that. And you imagine that. And it's like, so how do you determine how big you are, what time it is? How do you determine if you're even
but
moving, if you don't have anything else to distinguish
but
yourself from?
but see, the biggest problem that I have with this world and our existence is that, for the most part, we're not told how to think. We're told what to
I hate
think.
bro, I hate that we're fucking so lost right now. Like, how do we know what to fucking do? How do we know where we come from? How do we know where we're going? And we got like 30,000 different religions and translations and interpretations. We got all these men, even though they say never trust a man, trust God. And we're made to
Mhm.
feel unworthy of being God and that we have to worship. And at this point, I'm like, fuck no. And that the end of the world's coming. It's like, all right, well, I'm gonna stand up and I'm gonna fucking go balls
But
out, dude.
but that's the thing. I mean, until we get a certain level of maturity, and that's on every level, but mostly spiritual maturity. You learn to develop your own, uh I guess, borders, and because I mean, it doesn't really matter what other people think. It doesn't, you know what I'm saying? Because that's
That's
like
what I'm learning, bro.
that's the thing
You're
that
the voice of
I
your own matrix. So think about
yeah,
that. You're the voice of your own matrix. So you are God in your matrix.
yeah.
And,
I mean, there's other people that's making laws that I mean, maybe laws that we created when we were here before at some point, potentially. But in this realm, I mean, we come here with laws that's already existing, and we're trying to keep up with whatever that's happening. Because I mean, let's just say we like everything that the existence that we have right now. We come back in another 50 years, 100 years, 1,000 years. Everything is different
right.
than what it. You know what I'm
And,
saying?
and
So
and
Thousand.
so this
Back
is
a
what I wanted to
thousand.
say, because Brendan made me think about it. But it's like embracing what you don't know is what we have to do, right? The more we embrace what that we don't know is the more that we'll actually know. So then that's where we have to have doubt. We can't be looking at it and being like 100% sure about really anything. How could you possibly be 100% sure about anything? You know what I'm saying? There has to
Bro,
be some doubt.
I gotta
Remember, we want you to be an activist, and don't take our word for it. Look that shit up. Pulley.